John Brewer has been one of my very best friends in life. I've known him for over 40 years. John was hit by a car and paralyzed when he was 23 years old, and he went into this deep, dark depression because he was a very avid surfer. He loved to surf, and he was starting to enter competitions, and he was becoming very good and well known. And now he's paralyzed. He's going to spend the rest of his life in a wheelchair, and he got very, very depressed.
The real reality check was when I went from groups of friends that were coming and visiting and a lot of the special care. When I went from the acute hospital to the rehab, that's when it started to look kind of dark. I said, okay, this is becoming reality. Getting into the chair for the first time and things got really, really dark. And I was starting to think about how I could end my life.
He wasn't even sure he wanted to live. He didn't think he could live in a wheelchair the rest of his life.
And the more I thought about it, the darker that got, and just kind of pulled me down to the point that when I got down to the details of doing that, I got scared and started to reach for the foundation work that had been done in my life.
One of his good friends he used to surf with was named Sticky Jimmy. And the reason they called him Sticky Jimmy is because he developed a substance you put on the surfboard that holds your feet on. Jimmy comes to see him in this rehab center and basically breaks him out, puts him in the car, and they drive to the beach, and they're sitting there in the sand, and John looks over and Jimmy's sobbing because he knows they're never going to surf again. And so now John starts crying. And he said when he started crying, the sun created a prism, and he saw these beautiful colors on the water of red and purple and orange and green. And he just had this epiphany that he could do this, that he wasn't going to let this injury define his life. And so he went back to the rehab center to try to figure out how he lives happily.
Well, that came from the other side of being really, really depressed. So then I started focusing on those that were serving me, and things started to turn around.
And what he realized that is he couldn't think about himself and his problem all day long, or he'd get very, very depressed. So he really forced himself to think about other people. So he started being very kind to his nurses and to his doctors, and he started asking about their lives.
I tell them I love my healthcare professionals. It's such a great work, helping people. And so I was just, greet them with a smile and try as hard as I could in therapy. And even now when people say thank you, I say thank us, because we're doing this together.
And then as he was able to leave the rehab center, he'd get up every morning and think of who can I help today? Who can I do good deeds for?
Because whenever you're not thinking of yourself and you're thinking about other people's happiness, then it makes you happier.
He got through college, he became a teacher, he was loved by all of his students, and he's one of the happiest people that I know. He's got this aura about him. He's like this wise old sage that is just glowing with happiness. And he says the only reason I was able to survive is that I quit thinking about myself and I looked for opportunities to do good all day long. And that's what changed his life.